Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without lead. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Greetings, football lovers. Welcome to Ballchat podcast. My name is Benton Lawson, holding the fort, man in the ship today. It's an absolute pleasure to have a guest on the show, the one and only, the Arsenal fan joining the players. Sean, how you doing, family? A long time I don't see you. How you stay?
Yes, man, I'm good. You know, it's a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, man, welcome. Really appreciate you taking the time, family. We know, say, I would rather have liked us to link up under better circumstances where Arsenal was celebrating, you know. Football family, welcome to Ballchat podcast. You don't know how we do it. We review some of the week's major news in the world of football. Cameron and Junior are both away this week. We don't talk about the refereeing thing with Cameron, you know. The referee chairman need to assign games out of the Ballchat window because we cannot continue this. We want to hear Cameron's views week in and week out. And of course, Junior continue to chat safely out the road, family, doing some coaching. Football family, you don't know how we do it. We're going to kick off the show with Ballers and Bugs. At the top of the show, we highlight some of the impressive players and the unimpressive players of the week. But we don't want to highlight the unimpressive players. We're going to mention them. Then we're going to pivot to EPL Roundup, take a look at the week that was in the English Premier League, discuss Arsenal's week, Man City's week, Liverpool's game against Spurs. What a dramatic ending. We'll also take a look at other news. Napoli's wait for their first Scudetto since 89-90 season. We'll also wrap up with Bundesliga. Take a look at Jamaican football and just touch some news on Jamaican football. But we're always kicking off the Ballers and Bugs. We're going to let the guests join us with Ballers. Sean, before we get to your Ballers of the week, we're going to highlight and big up to all listeners. Always appreciate the listeners for coming through. Always big up yourself. Thank you for joining us on Ballchat. Ballers of the week, family. Who do you have, Sean? And one more thing. You don't know me, I'll talk a lot. One, big up Fortis. Big up your Kingston College on winning the boys championship in this year's edition. So big up yourself. Congrats. I attended champs and you guys were absolutely spectacular. So big up yourself, brother. Outstanding.
Fortis forever. And remember, we also won the 4x4 at Pens.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
excellent. So big up to all the KC man them out the road and all the fans that will support KC because that team was outstanding at Pen Relays and outstanding at Boys Champs this year. Champions at Boys Champs. All right, now to football. Ballers of the week, family. Impressive players. Who do you have?
Well, for me, it's not just players for me right now. Because now that it's down to the crunch time, I'm more focused on teams. And I remember this morning you were talking about what's the name of this team there? You were talking about Newcastle.
Yes, Newcastle.
I know Newcastle is really coming after the beat up aside and they come now. And then the second half they lift the game and you know they show their class in the second half, and I have to give Newcastle the entire team Ballers of the week. We're focusing on Ballers right now. So Newcastle, the entire Newcastle team, I think they have lifted their game since recently, and I'm not going to individualize anybody, but I'm giving the entire Newcastle team for Ballers of the week.
All right.
For maintaining.
Yeah, anyhow, and family, Isaac and the entire crew playing some very good football. Came from one down against Southampton, soft soap idiot Southampton. Also defeated Everton in the middle of the week also. So they're playing some serious football as they look to get into Champions League. Any more Ballers and football family, if you're just running in, big up yourself. Thanks for joining us. We have Arsenal fan Sean joining us, the gunner himself. Arsenal for life, the money I always say. Any more Ballers you have, family?
Is it Mr. Sabbath man, so I just saw the highlight. Was it Beaumont?
Bournemouth defeated what? Leeds 4-1.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know
And
it was,
that 6-0, that 6-0 yesterday.
yeah, Brighton over Wolves.
Brighton. Yes. Brighton. Um that's ball of the week for me. The Brighton team, the entire Brighton team. That score was a surprise for me when I saw it last night when I came home from church. I couldn't believe the score. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is happening? Um I thought Wolves is a much better team than Six Love. Come on, man.
Yeah, man, that was a shocker to me. I didn't
You
I
know.
didn't see it live, and I thought that was a shock. Big up to Reggie Hill of family.
Yeah.
Reggie says Hill Ballchat Ballers of the Week Arsenal Women's FC, who came back from 2 down to tie Wolfsburg and then sold out the
During the week.
Emirates Stadium for the Champions League semi-final. Big up. So Arsenal ladies, what, on their way to what, Champions League final to run into the big Barcelona team. But Arsenal ladies, big up yourself. Dalton Stewart, big up yourself, says Ballers Liverpool and Diego Jota. Diego 94th minute winner. Jota
Awesome.
plus Newcastle. We'll get to that game in a second. Ballers. My ballers of the week, family. We're in the ballers and bugs segment. If you have ballers, send them on. If you have bugs, send them on. My ballers of the week, I want to highlight Ilkay Gundogan.
Oh.
What a player. What a player. And I know Kevin De Bruyne, rightfully so, Erling Haaland, etc. Those players, they get the face, they get the limelight of what goes on with this Man City team. If you watch that game against Arsenal on in the middle of the week, on Wednesday, the players by Ilkay Gundogan to rotate the ball, keep it moving. Absolutely fantastic. So big up yourself, Ilkay Gundogan. Ball of the week for that youth. I want to give Julian Alvarez is a Man City ballers of the week we highlight this week. Julian Alvarez, another stunner. Well, not another stunner, but an absolute stunner against Fulham from way downtown. Big up yourself, youth. And I don't know how Man City keep Julian Alvarez and Erling Haaland happy. I think Julian Alvarez is an absolute talented footballer, and he's going to be pushing and want more minutes next year. So big up yourself, Julian Alvarez. Scored the winner against Fulham. Big up yourself, youth. Ball of the week to Bunny Shaw, Khadija Bunny Shaw. It's really hard way for Man City ballers of the week today. Ball of the week to Khadija Bunny Shaw. Scored her 18th goal of the Women's Super League season. She will win the goal scoring award by a country mile. She's doing excellent. Big up yourself to Khadija Bunny Shaw as Man City woman won again. So big up, big up. Bugs of the week, family. Sean, who do you have, family?
Yes.
Bugs of the week.
Yes. Several of them,
Yes.
And this time, entire team, Wolves. I would have given the entire Wolves team. I would have given Aston Villa as well, Bugs of the week. However, I have another one that saved them because Aston Villa has been playing well, and 1-0, I think they faltered a bit today. But Bugs of the week is the entire Wolves team and the entire PSG team.
Yeah, PSG lost to Lorient, and the defending.
This team gets from bad to worse. I can understand with Wolves because Wolves they are not known to be a top team, but PSG was built as a top team and was also built to win the Champions League, which we all know they failed miserably. But they have been losing games ever since the fancy baller got injured. And I'm saying this team should not be a one-player team. They have the likes of Messi, because Messi played today. They have Mbappe and others. And they're still losing against some Bramble team. If they don't break up this team this summer, then that those owners, they just have money to waste.
Yeah.
But PSG is definitely bug of the week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Bug, big bug. What an absolute failure. Absolute failure over at PSG.
Yes, man.
Dalton Stewart says Bugs are Wolves. Wolves picked up 6-0 from Brighton. Julian Lopetegui and the entire Wolves family. And the reggae boy, Mr. What name? Taylor, I think his name. It's slipping my mind. Part of that Wolves setup, pick up 6. So pick up yourself. Reggae boy, I have a hold the 6 love there. But Bugs of the week for Dalton, Wolves, Cold Spurs, and Neverton.
Oh yes.
And Everton
Oh yes.
looks
Oh,
concerned.
oh yes. What's that player? Spurs player name that gave away the ball today?
Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moore. He's bug of the week. Him alone is bug of the week. Not the Spurs team. Him alone is bug of the week in terms of individual. I just can't believe your team just scored, get the equalizer. You had about a minute and a half left for the game to blow off. You get the ball. You make a pass. You know the worst thing about it was a blind pass he played at the back. He didn't even look where he was kicking the ball.
Yes.
Instead of playing the ball, same way you play the ball by not looking at the back. Play the ball forward by not looking. Just kick the ball up the field and make the pressure ease off of your team. It was less than probably 15 seconds after they scored. This man gave away the winner. No, man, him is definitely bug of the week in terms of an individual play. Definitely.
Yeah, Lucas Moura. And the puzzling thing for me, Sean, I don't know how he ended up in the right back position. And
Trust
yes,
me.
it should not be positionally, possession should not have an impact on that decision making. Lucas Moura, a big man, he's been playing ball for long enough to know, to have sense. He's not schoolboy, he's not Luka Pitney, right?
Exactly.
But I was like, what's going on? Big up to Kofi Powell. Kofi Powell says Liverpool ballers. Richardson bug early celebration. Karma reach him.
I don't like him still, but you can't blame the man. Him get the equalizer. Even though him probably didn't even touch the ball, to be honest. Because I still didn't see a touch.
Yeah. I mean, Richardson celebrated that goal. Of course, a man from Everton because he really wanted to stick it to the entire Liverpool nation. So, all right, let's get to our EPL roundup and take a look at some of the results in this weekend and the week's EPL action. And let's start off with Saturday and Sunday results. And before we even get to it, we're going to kick it around with this Liverpool versus Spurs game, family. This game ended 4-3, Sean. I mean,
yeah.
I don't even know what to make of Liverpool. They were cruising 3-0. And how is it possible to let Spurs back into this game, Sean? You mentioned Newcastle earlier as your ball of the week. We saw Newcastle play the same Spurs team a few weeks ago or recently and put them to the sword. They score 5, they score 3, they score 4. They just back them up and said, how is it that this Liverpool team with this manager allowed this game to come back to them and almost gave up a point at the death, family?
Liverpool, for me, is not so strong from the middle right back to the center half. And they still have strength up front. And when they're going strong, they can punish you. But when a team decides to play not only tactical, but when a team decides to play them to their strengths, it's difficult for Liverpool to stop other teams from scoring. And I think that's why I reached them today as well. And that is the reason why they are so inconsistent this season. Liverpool, yes, they can get a goal or two, but Liverpool is not the same Liverpool at the back in which they used to be probably about three seasons ago. So this season sum up, especially today, because Spurs is a very weak team right now. And they're not only weak in terms of playing, they are weak in terms of their mindset as well. And you allow this team to come back from 2-1 down or 3 down.
Yeah, they were under
And
three at three
yeah,
love in the
from
other
3 down, it
class.
was
Yeah.
3 love. It was 3 love.
In
From
fact, they were
3
under
down,
three in the first 20 minutes of the ball game.
right. They pulled back 1, and then in the second half, they scored another 2. And in fact, they scored 1 late. It basically extra time. So for me, that is the problem with Liverpool. Unless Klopp, well, I don't know how I'm going to solve the problem because his main man in the center half isn't the same person that he used to be a few years ago. I think he was trying today though, because Asim was doing a lot of talking. But despite that, the defense is still weak. Alexander Arnold, very good player going forward, but I don't think him can him can save anything when he's under pressure. He's not a good defender.
Yeah, defensively they're lost at sea. Big up Reggie. Reggie says bug of the week. VAR missing obvious penalties and red cards. And the reason why I want to highlight Reggie's comment. Ryan Mason, interim manager for Spurs, was quite spicy and lively at his post-match presser. He was very critical of the referee and of the VAR. He felt like Diego Jota should have gotten a red card for the high foot on one Mr. Mr. Skip.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on this, family? You think this was a red card or Ryan Mason? When they told Klopp this, Klopp says Ryan Mason have other things to worry about.
In fairness, it could have gone either way. If he got a red card, I would not be upset. But it was a dangerous play. Come on, always say it's not intent.
Yeah.
Once the rule has stated certain things, not really intent. His foot was there, and it was a dangerous play. So whether or not he meant it, because you can't know if a player meant it or not.
Yeah.
But his foot was there, so it was a dangerous play. So he got away with one. To be honest, he got away with one. But guess what? That's the game.
That's the game.
That's the game.
And of course, Ryan Mason said that he needs an explanation from VAR because that challenge checked all the boxes for a potential red card. Yo, Spurs, man, them just a complain too much. Absolutely.
No, the only reason why I'm complaining now in Benton is because the game finished the way it finished.
Yes.
If Lucas Moura didn't mess up,
yes, and
gave away the winner,
yes,
I don't think he would even say anything about that play still,
Exactly. I because he even went on to say in the presser that and to think that Jota is the one that scored the winner.
Exactly.
And he shouldn't be on the field, make him even more angry.
So that's the only reason why he's complaining, because they lost the game.
They lost the game. Before we move away from this game, family, Liverpool is pushing in to what you saw from this Liverpool team. We're getting to the business end of the season. We're already in the business end of the season. Can this Liverpool team squeeze into the top 4? Or defensively, you think these issues are too much for a top 4 team?
30. They have played 32 games.
We'll look at this. We'll look at the top 6 here. Let me get the schedule. The EPL top 6 up. 33 games for Liverpool. They're sitting on 33 points.
And Manu has played a much.
Yeah, Manu have played 32, and they're sitting on 63 points.
It's going to be with Manu inconsistency. It's not impossible, but I don't think it's probable.
Okay.
You understand? It's not impossible, but I don't think it's probable. Because Manu played one less game.
And the interesting thing for Liverpool is that, and we look at the upcoming schedule in a second here, Manchester United has Brighton in the middle of the week, and Liverpool has Fulham. So if we look at the dynamics of that schedule...
Brighton coming off a tremendous victory.
Yeah.
And they can play, you know. This
Yes,
team
yes.
can play. This team can play. This is not a fluke team, you know. This
Yeah.
team can play. They have been showing signs all season that they know to put the ball on the pitch and move it around. So Man U might have problems with this team, you know. But Liverpool points is how much, you know? 50, 56 or 58.
Liverpool are sitting on 56 points. They're 7
56.
points back of Man United.
So even if Man U
United have
lost,
a game in hand on them.
yeah, even if they lost against Brighton, I think it's too far.
It's too far. It's too far.
Yeah, I think it's too far. Too far.
Big up El Pistolero. El Pistolero says, but Liverpool can complain that Salah should have had a foul and he didn't, and that non-call leads to Spurs' third goal. So he's saying that Liverpool could have complained about the third goal leading up to Spurs' third goal. He also says Liverpool won't get into the top four. The top four will be as is. Liverpool also inconsistent.
Yeah, that's true.
So Liverpool basically left themselves a little bit too much here.
Yep.
They need some favorable results to go their way. All right, continuing our EPL roundup and taking a look at some of the results that occurred this weekend. We have Bournemouth defeated Leeds 4-1. Man City over Fulham 2-1. Aston Villa defeated. Aston Villa lost to Man United 1-0. Newcastle came from behind 3-1. Southampton, of course. Spurs 4-3. Liverpool 4-3 over Spurs. Yesterday, Crystal Palace defeated West Ham 4-3. Brentford defeated Nottingham Forest 2-1. And Brighton 6 over Wolves. Man City 2-1 victory over Fulham. A very hard-fought victory. Your thoughts on that victory, and it was just a business-like performance in your mind?
Yeah, Man City. It's so funny about Man City. Man City hype to play certain teams, and when they play other teams, they seem to struggle a bit. You know, I know everybody will say, you know, they're probably cruising. No, they didn't cruise. They didn't have their own way. You know, because this Fulham team did not give Man City anything. You know, they had to work really, really, really hard for this 2-1 victory. And this is something that puzzled me. And I think that is what makes them probably the best team in England for the past 5 or 7 years. Because these are the victories, as good as their teams are over the past 7 years. These are the victories that really mean more to them than the ones that they go out and just blow away teams. You know, because you have teams that come on the day that are motivated to play a team like this. And I don't mean pretty football. They come to fight. And this was one of those games that Fulham came out to fight. You know you're not as good as Man City. Tactically, your players are not as special. They can't move the ball around. But you know that, listen, if they don't score on you, they can't beat you. And if you limit their scoring, you know, the game will look a little bit more respectable. And this is what Fulham did today. And I've seen this from Man City. But Man City at this time of the year, I don't know, something about them. They remain focused and decide to listen. The aim is not to drop any points at this time of the year. And seriously, I don't see them dropping any points. And I think that is what the difference between Man City and Arsenal, who had the Premier League in their hands and gave it away. Because this has nothing, Arsenal losing the Premier League has nothing to do with Man City. It has to do with Arsenal themselves. Because Arsenal lose against team like, or draw then, against team like West Ham, Southampton, Liverpool, and all of these teams are struggling teams. Right? And they drop points by leading by 2-0. Right? So that's the difference between those two teams. So Man City is on the business end. I thought, as you said, they played a real professional game this morning. And guess what? They got the dub. They got the 3 points. And that's most important thing right now where the championship is concerned.
All right, you mentioned Arsenal, and we're just going to take a look back at that game. You're an Arsenal fan. The game against Man City in the middle of the week, that was breathtaking football from Man City. Yeah, excellent. What is the sentiment in the Arsenal fan group and the Arsenal supporters group and the Arsenal nation? What's the vibe? So you guys feeling on that game, the season overall, and so forth? Not that it's a wrap yet, but
It is a wrap because logically, because what Arsenal did, Arsenal, because you know me already, Arsenal actually got me to believe this season. It took me a long while, even though they were winning, and it took me a long while. And they got me to believe. But what happened as I said, for about a month now, I've been watching them playing and realized their form has been dipping. And even though their form has been dipping, I realized the coach wasn't changing the players that he had out there. And he was doing the same thing over and over. And even though the form was dipping. That Trossard.
Yeah, Leandro Trossard, yeah.
Arsenal went on a run when they got Trossard.
Yeah.
And he was starting. And when I think Jesus came back,
yeah,
Trossard was sent to the bench.
Yeah.
But Jesus for me is not the problem. But Jesus came back and started scoring.
Yeah.
But I thought both Odegaard and even Saka form dipped a bit.
Yeah.
And even when the game is showing that, I remember the West Ham game and the same what was that? The team that they draw against again? Not Liverpool, the other Southampton game.
Yeah, Southampton.
Yeah. They weren't playing anything. And instead of Arteta pulling these players, Arteta kept them still and gave Trossard probably a few minutes in the game, as if he wanted to work miracles. But all of these things start happening because we lack leadership from the back.
Okay.
We start going downhill in terms of form from what's my centre half name again?
Saliba.
From Saliba got injured.
Yeah.
There was no leadership around there.
Okay.
Me, for one, I am not a fan of any English defenders. Holding cannot hold. Him can't even hold him thumb. You understand? And that is the problem. We started leak goals like crazy.
Yeah.
From Holding went around there. So there's no leadership there. And that is, I think, was our main downfall for this season. We lost Saliba. And I blame Arteta to the point where in the January window, you should have gotten another good centre half. Because coming for the next season, you need at least two defenders, right? And two midfielders, two holding midfielders. You need at least two of them. So we need about 4 players. If you get those 4 players, Arsenal will compete again for the EPL next season. But we need those 4 players. If you don't get those 4 players, we're going to always have that problem. As soon as we get an injury, we're going to have. So we don't have anybody to back up for Saliba.
Yeah.
So we lead goals when Starman in the midfield is out, we're in trouble again. But there's nobody else to back up for him.
So when Xhaka, right? Was it Xhaka?
Not Xhaka. No man, Xhaka is solid. Xhaka is not really playing midfield.
Thomas Partey.
Partey, yes. Yeah. Right? And that's a problem. Right? So Arteta, he made a little blunder, but why I'm not going to kill Arteta this season, I think this Arsenal team has played beyond the expectation of even the fans. Because Arsenal will make the Champions League this season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And to be honest, if somebody had told us that at the beginning of the season, we would be happy for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess because the point with 8 games to go, Arsenal was leading by something like about 6 or 7 points, right?
Yeah.
So with that, we got greedy and say, well, our team can do it. But we weren't looking at the logically at how the team was really playing, and now that reality stuck in, we just have to settle for, hey, listen, the team did well. We're disappointed that we
Yeah.
really didn't push through the line. But when you really think about it, I think the team did well, and we cannot kill the coach. Him still learning. And I think a lot of blunders, because Arteta did make the same mistakes he made last season,
Yeah, yeah.
Because he made the very mistake last season,
Yeah, yeah,
Arteta should
yeah.
have been playing Champions League this season, But he blundered just the same in the end. And this season, he blundered in terms of winning the Premier League. Luckily, we had enough points on the table to make it to Champions League.
Yeah, after the game against Man City, he says, quote, "This is a difficult one. We have to accept that the reality, and then we have to move on," end quote. And he said quite a few things. Now, one of the main criticism, and again, Man City was excellent. Going to the Etihad, we know that was going to be a tough game, right? But one of the main criticism that was levied against Mikel Arteta's setup against Man City was just the way how Kevin De Bruyne was able to score that first goal. Thomas Partey was very, very much behind the play. It seems like, some of the experts in the space were saying that he should have brought Xhaka close to Thomas and play a double pivot to play beside him to protect. Because once Erling Haaland...
And rough him up.
Yes, once Erling Haaland came short, and they did it a few times. Erling Haaland came short, and then De Bruyne kept running into free space. He pulled out the centre back. So do you see those issues with Arteta's coaching, or is just a lack of depth again in the squad that has been the main Achilles heel?
It is the statics. It's inexperience in coaching.
Okay.
And what he did, I realized something. Arteta is Pep's protege, right?
Yeah.
But we all know this from primary school, Benton. When you're watching karate show, right? We used to have karate show back in primary school on Fridays.
Yes, we used to watch karate.
The master never teaches the students everything.
This is true. This
right?
is true.
And that is what's killing Arteta. Pep didn't teach Arteta everything, out of the book, So whenever I'm reach, he plays Arteta,
Yeah.
He had something new for Arteta, and that's the problem. Arteta was schooled the other day when he played Pep. Pep used something totally new on him.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. But I'm not going to kill him too much. He's young. But guess what? This is just this year alone we're giving him, in terms of learning. Because he shouldn't, as 2 years straight now he made a mistake, he should not make the mistake a third time.
All right.
If he made the mistake a third time next season, it means him don't have any learning to learn. You understand?
He made tough.
Yeah, man, he made tough. Like 3 strikes you out. Yeah. So we're going to give him that because he still had a successful year.
Yeah,
Arsenal has been out of the Champions League for probably 7 seasons now?
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't even count. A long time.
So going back there, you have to give Arteta some plus for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
and overall, big up to all the Gunners fans. Big up yourself because, again, I didn't have Arsenal nowhere near the top 2 when I picked in August. So I just know that losing it the way after having that 8 or 6 points.
It hurt. It hurt. Disappointing.
Yeah,
man, it's disappointing.
But sometimes you just have to take your medicine as a grand.
Yep.
You have to take your medicine,
I don't think any Arsenal fan had Arsenal in top 2, to be honest. Realistically, if an Arsenal fan tell you that, they're lying. I don't think any of us had our team in the top 2 at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. All right, we want to take a look at some other quick news before we go on because we're pushing it. We can discuss football all day, but we want to touch some other quick news before it's 36 after the hour. And I want to get your thoughts on Chelsea, family. Chelsea they're currently sitting, we'll take a look at the table here in a second and see where Chelsea is sitting. They're in a spot about it. They play Arsenal on May 2nd. Then on May 6th, they play Bournemouth. Then on May 13th, they have Nottingham Forest. 21st, they go to Man City, or they play Man City. Then they play Manchester United on the 25th. And they wrap up against Newcastle. I hate to ask this question, but I have to, Sean. They have lost all the games under one Mr. Lampard. Is Chelsea in a legitimate chance to get relegated here?
No.
Okay.
39 points, just save them.
So 39 points is enough. That's where they're sitting.
Just save them, I think. You really need probably about 40, 42.
Yeah, 40,
but
42
based on
points,
how the games are going to go, I think 39 points just about save them, even if they should lose the rest of the matches. Because I think Chelsea has lost, probably about 4 or 5.
They haven't won all the games.
They haven't won up for about 9 games now. Something like that, right?
Yes, they haven't won. It's been a while since they won a game.
But they're on 39 points with Bournemouth.
Yes.
A minus 5 goal average. Yes. A minus 9. You have Bournemouth on 39, Wolves on 37, West Ham on 34, Leeds on 30, Nottingham Forest on 30. What's going good for Chelsea? They play 2 less games than most of the other teams.
But does it matter if you lose in football games, family? They're at 39 points on 12 positions.
But it's who them have to play. Yeah.
Minus 5 goal difference.
Exactly. They have the likes of Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Newcastle. That's really 4 games that they more than likely will lose them. Out of how much? Out of 7?
Yeah.
Let me see. No, out of 6. It's 38
so
games, right?
Games I have, yeah.
So it's logical that they might lose 4 out of that 6. Right? Because if all those 4 teams that are called, if they come out and play their game, Chelsea must lose. If they come out and find but their form and play the way they're supposed to play, Chelsea will lose those games.
Yeah.
Right? As much as Arsenal drop in form, if they find their form that day, because remember it's a North London derby.
Yeah.
So they don't like to lose that.
Yeah, I mean Arsenal should beat Chelsea easy.
So Chelsea lose those 4 games. It looked tricky. It looked tricky.
I did not pay much attention to it.
Yeah, it looked
But then
tricky.
I look at the schedule and I'm thinking 39 points, sitting in 12, 10 points out of the drop zone.
But what saved them now, Benton? That's why I don't think they're going down. What saved them? They only need about 2 draws. Right? Because Leicester is on 29 playing 33 games. I mean, them have 1 less game to play.
Yes.
Everton as well on 28. Southampton gone.
Yeah, Southampton gone.
Right? Them gone. Everton has 28 points. That means they have, and they play 1 less, they have at least 10 and 11 points respectively to really catch up to Chelsea. I don't see either Leicester or Everton winning the next 3 games.
Yeah, and
you understand?
And so that is fair. That is fair. The concern is
so that is what's saving Chelsea. No?
That is fair.
Yeah.
But
I don't see them winning the next 3 matches. Either of them.
You know, so even if Chelsea lose all the games,
even if they finish on 39 points, I think they're safe.
Yeah. You know,
I think they're safe.
They asked Jurgen Klopp about Chelsea, his thoughts on Chelsea recently in an interview, and he said, you know, a part of him feels sorry for them, to paraphrase. He says, I kind of sympathize and feel sorry for them. But he said the other part of him says, well, this is what you should know, that you don't just spend a bag of money and win games. It doesn't work that way. You have to have relationship. You have to have people that work well together. So this is a good lesson to paraphrase.
Yeah, I'm not totally agreeing with Klopp because Man City spend a bag of money.
Yeah, so but he's
But
highlighting the importance of money and the relationships and the personnel that you bring in, etc. Because
that
you
is
know,
true. The quality of players that you bring in makes the difference. The quality of players. Man City only spend money on quality players. They'll spend any money at all now on quality players. Chelsea didn't do the same thing. Chelsea spent a bag of money the other day from even players that are not proven.
Yep.
And that is where they went wrong. And I was wondering why Chelsea buy about 40 players the other day.
They did sign quite a lot, and Arsenal seems to dodge a bullet with the one Mikel Modric because he looks
Yes,
like a
we
straight
did.
bug from
Yes, we did.
Speaking of Chelsea, Julian Nagelsmann removed his name from the coaching contention. Luis Enrique seems to get the pass by Chelsea's authorities. Poch seems to be the favorite based on the reports. Seems like it's any day now we expect some sort of agreement. You agree with Pochettino potentially becoming the man at Chelsea? Word is he's already working on the plans for the summer.
For me, though, it don't matter to me who go to Chelsea because I don't like them. But for footballing reasons, I don't think Poch would be a bad option. I think this is his level. To be honest, I think this is his level. There are no superstars there, so it is his level. Poch was over above him head when he went to PSG. That's not his level. That's way above his level. Chelsea, the Chelsea that is there now, I think is his level. Probably the Chelsea of old was a little bigger than Poch, but I think he can get something from Chelsea. They do have a lot of players that have potential. I don't know what's happening with the mind, the headspace of the players. There's something that I learned as an Arsenal fan over the years. You see, when you get into this habit of losing, it becomes a part of you, and you start thinking that way. And no matter what, no matter how good the squad is, you still lose. And I think Chelsea has developed that habit this season, and it's not a good habit and a good practice to have. I hope that the only drawback with that is Pochettino is not a proven winner. So his most successful stint was at Spurs. And he went, you have to give him credit to go to Champions League. And he lost a very competitive game. Because I think the score was about 2-1 or something like that in the finals.
Yeah, against Liverpool, the Champions League.
Yeah. So I'm not going to kill him for that result.
Yeah.
But that season they played really, really well. And that was Pochettino's most successful stint at Chelsea.
At Spurs.
Not Chelsea, at Spurs.
Yeah, in the English Premier League,
if he can replicate anything close to that at Chelsea, he should be able to lift back Chelsea. But you see, Chelsea is a hard team to follow in.
Yeah.
Because Chelsea is used to winning. And as much as I don't like Chelsea, Chelsea is a championship club, you know. They have won almost everything, you know.
Yep.
Right? So it's going to be hard whoever take over Chelsea because Chelsea of past has done it all. And if Pochettino, he really hasn't won anything. So I don't know.
Yeah, he has to change the culture. Big up. We could go through some quick hits. Want to get your quick thoughts on some of these other news before we go my way out, because we have about another 5 or 10 minutes left in the show. Big up to all listeners joining in. Remember to smash the like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Big up yourself. Pochettino looks like the favorite for this job at Chelsea, as we mentioned. Want to step out of the English Premier League and away from the English Premier League and take your thoughts on the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich gone with it. Are you think there was word that some who thought that Bundesliga was gonna go to Dortmund this year. Bayern Munich sitting at 1 point ahead of Dortmund. Dortmund drew. Is this a foregone conclusion? Bayern Munich will win this league against 11 consecutive.
How many games left?
So, what is it? 5 or 6 games left in the season.
It's not over then. It's not finished yet. Because Bayern has been, this is the most inconsistent Bayern Munich has been in the Bundesliga for many seasons now. This league is theirs for the past probably 50 years.
Yeah.
They have been dominating this. This season is the season where I saw the inconsistency. I have to put all that blame on the management team, not the managers, the executives.
Yeah, Oliver Kahn and
yes,
Hassan. And
they shouldn't have. The decision that they made and fire their coach is rubbish.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coach did anything wrong to be fired.
Yeah, Julian Nagelsmann. Huh?
Yeah, I think he was a brilliant coach. And I don't know, you get jumpy because you think you could have won Champions League. No, I didn't think you could have won any Champions League. That team wasn't good enough to win Champions League this season, but they were good enough to stay and win their Bundesliga with ease. And ever since they made that change, and with the infighting, and that's another thing again, the infighting, which means there's a lot of indiscipline creeping into Bayern Munich right now. It has certainly affected the team, and I am not surprised if Dortmund, with the next 5 games that remain, even though they draw yesterday, can come back and pull this off.
All right, very competitive Bundesliga in a while. So
Yep.
Bundesliga fans, neutral, will be happy to that. Other quick hits, want to get your thoughts on some other news. Napoli fans turned up in droves. Big bus pack up to celebrate the title. Unfortunately, never materialized today as one. Mr. Guillermo Ochoa, Mexican international, was outstanding in goal for Slacentina. First trophy, Scudetto trophy, loading for Napoli since 89-90 season. Your thoughts on this Napoli team and what would seem like an inevitable title family?
I am happy for Napoli. And you see, for the past few seasons, especially in Champions League, this team has always put out some real competitive teams in Champions League. For probably missing 1 or 2 pieces, they don't go all the way.
Yeah.
And for them to really reach the pinnacle now and about to win the Serie A, I am proud of them. It's full time now. Some other names call apart from the Milans and stuff like that, and I'm happy for Napoli. But just to flip a bit, also we need to say congrats to Xavi and Barcelona for winning the
La Liga.
The La Liga. We give them a lot of licks for inconsistency and all sort of other stuff. And they actually went out there and pulled it off this season. And you have to give him, it's clear that he have something in mind, and he outsmart the great Ancelotti this season.
Yeah.
But I think it's because this Real Madrid team is a bit tired.
Yeah.
They have won everything for the past 5 seasons, and I think they are tired. And I think that is what reached them. Why Barcelona really pull off the victory this season.
Yeah. Want to get your thoughts on quickest again. Juventus. Big news came out recently. Juventus, of course, was docked 15 points. It was subsequently overturned by a court hearing in Italy, pending a review by the Football Federation. The court sent it back to the Federation, basically tell them to reevaluate this 15 points. And how did they come up with this 15 points? Jose Mourinho said, quote, "I've been in Italy long enough to know that the points were returned to Juventus a long time ago." Of course, the 15 points were deducted for manipulation of the accounting. Man, cut the books. Can you believe? I mean, inevitably, your thoughts on this? Inevitably, there would be some sort of punishment. Do you think the 15 points deducted was too harsh? Of course, now that they've received the 15 points, seems like we've lost. Yep, there you go. Now that you're back, you hear me, right?
Yeah, the 15 points.
Yeah, so now that they received the 15 points, do you think that this is it's a bad punishment? It's too harsh of a punishment? If they do, if it does upheld in terms of getting the 15 points, deducted.
If they get it back, well, this one put if they get the 15 right now, is the 15 points included in the 60 points that Juventus have now?
Yes, so they have it returned, but it's pending the reassessment by the federation. The court sent it back to the federation to reassess that penalty, and so the federation may come back and said, okay, 15 points or 10 points or 30 points. We don't know exactly what the federation may come back with.
How many they had pulled 15 before, right? They had deducted 15.
Yes, they deducted and they were
down and then they give them back the 15 then that's why it's 60 now.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at it from this point of view. If they did something wrong and the points was deducted, well, it should stay. However, from a point of view of AC Milan and Roma and International, I would want them to lose that 15 points. All three teams are tied on 57 points, you know. So if you give Juventus, it's 4 teams going to Champions League. If you give Juventus that 15 points, then we're going to have a problem. It means at least 2 of those teams not going to make it to Champions League. Right? So I like Jose Mourinho, I would hit out as well. And they all have what? Roma has plus 14 goals, Milan plus 14, International plus 19. It's just Juventus that has plus 21. So they even have a better goal average. Now, I don't know if they got back the goals with it as well. Because it's possible that could be the case too.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? But if I am their competitor, I would want the 15 points deduction to remain.
Yeah. So we have to watch the space. Jose Mourinho says this is Italy. We know a scammer league. Well, he didn't call it scammer league, but
yep.
54 after the hour, getting ready for go over Riyadh. One final thoughts from you, Fably, before we go home at Riyadh. Luka Modric, the boss, Carlo Ancelotti, said recently Luka picked up an injury. He's not sure how long he'll be out. Should Real Madrid worry here for Luka, knowing that they have the semi-final coming up against Man City?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. All right.
No. The experience that this Real Madrid team has far beyond every team that is in football right now. Now, this team, no matter how horrible they look in La Liga, they know how to win the Champions League.
Yep. It's a Champions League.
Yeah, man. This team was built for that. Yep. And Magic plays a major role in it, but there's something I learned from Real Madrid. It's not a one-man team. Any given day, they will step up. It's like they are a different beast, a different animal when it comes to the Champions. You know, and as because their star man up front is back, they'll be all right. You know, they'll be all right. Benzema, you know, the luxury car is right there up front doing the steering. They'll be all right. But Madrid, he'll be missed. but I think Ancelotti knows what he's doing.
Yeah, man, that man
And
died.
City, though, if City don't win the Champions League this season, Pep need to go sit down and hold him can.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we are gonna wrap up this. Big up, family. We'll preview that Man City versus Real Madrid game coming in our upcoming episode. But big up, thank you for joining us as always to the Arsenal fan. Big up, congrats on
Yes,
the
man.
season, and time to go kick some Sunday ball game. I'm gonna run through
Okay.
some Jamaican news real quickly and just let the people know some Jamaican news. But big up, Sean, the Arsenal fan, for joining us. Big up yourself, family, and thank you always for joining in.
Yeah, man, respect.
Big up. Just want to highlight some Jamaican news. Want to let the people know that Raymond Anderson, JFF Vice President, announced that they will have relegation this year in the Jamaican Premier League. Did a U-turn on that decision. 24 hours earlier, they said there was no relegation. Now they will have a relegation. So Chapelton, big up yourself. You're going to be relegated. Gone back a road. Also, Jamaican news, U20 camp was held recently. Coach John Wall, part of the Hal Grimson staff. He's the man who led the U20 camp. His objective is to keep the players fine-tuned for upcoming tournament. He said there's a lot of problems, but essentially we have to keep playing football. Big up to Corey Burke. Corey Burke scored for New York Red Bulls. Big up yourself. The one and only Mr. Corey Burke. And big up to Andre Blake and the Philadelphia Union as they get ready for CONCACAF Champions League games coming up for Philadelphia Union. Big up to the Arsenal fan for joining us. Big up yourself. Congrats on the season, Arsenal, and a surprise us. Thanks for making the league competitive. Big up to the Fortis man, of course, Kingston College. Sean, congrats on our successful champs. All the listeners, I want to thank you as always for joining us. Thank you for always for joining us. Big up to Camona and Junior Outer Road. Go and chat safely. Connect with us on Facebook at Ballchat. We're on Twitter at Ballchat1. We're on Instagram at Ballchat Podcast. Remember to subscribe, turn on the notification. Remember to smash the like button. Big up to the family. Yo, we're gone. I already know.
Blessings.
Bless up, family.